In the deep, silent shadows of the skeletal fortress lies the sacred throne, the bone marrow. There, legends are forged from nothingness, and an epic bloodline saga begins, one that will not cease as long as the heart beats. Scene 1, the Great Genesis and the Sacred Call. Within this hidden, spongy tissue sleep mysterious, gelatinous entities called hematopoietic stem cells. They are beings without identity, waiting for the call. Elsewhere in the kingdom, within the high citadels of the kidneys, an alarm is sounded. Oxygen is depleting in the highlands. The kidneys capture the frantic signal and instantly dispatch a swift royal messenger, a hormone named erythropoietin. This messenger races through the bloodstream until it breaches the gates of the bone marrow, bearing a stern decree: raise us an army of oxygen guardians. The stem cells awaken from their slumber and declare a state of emergency. For 7 whole days, they wage an epic war of transformation. They divide, grow, and arm themselves with hemoglobin, the crimson armor of iron. At the final sub-second before stepping into the light, they make the ultimate sacrifice. They eject their own nuclei and discard their DNA. They surrender their minds and their ability to divide, rendering themselves hollow-like vessels, for one purpose only: to hold the maximum amount of oxygen. Scene 2, Into the Unknown and the 120-Day Crusade. The gates of the marrow swing open. Billions of young, biconcave, flexible, and fierce red cells charge into the roaring torrent of the bloodstream. The grand march begins. The cells dash toward the lungs, where they capture oxygen, draping themselves in a glowing, vivid scarlet. They then launch into a crusade spanning 120 days, covering thousands of kilometers through labyrinthine capillaries and rivers of vast arteries. They visit every single cell in the empire. They knock on the doors of the brain, fuel the muscles of the heart, and revive the distant tips of the feet. They bestow life, oxygen, and seize the toxic waste, carbon dioxide, carrying it back to the lungs to be cast out. It is a daily campaign of absolute devotion. Scene 3, Decay and the Valley of Shadows. Time takes its toll. As days and months march on, the flexible walls of the cells begin to crack. They lose their magical elasticity due to constant collisions with arterial walls. The cells grow old, heavy, and unable to bend through the narrow passageways. The journey nears its end. The weathered veterans voluntarily head toward the catacomb of the ancients, the spleen. Scene 4, The Final Sacrifice and the Rebirth. Inside the spleen lies a network of impossibly tight corridors, a final trial of survival. The flexible young defenders pass through, but the old, rigid cells get trapped in the maze. The macrophages, the sentinels of the catacomb, advance and surround the helpless cells. There is no malice in this encounter, it is a merciful embrace of death. The crimson cells are dismantled, but even in demise, their sacrifice is never wasted. The precious iron. Extracted with supreme precision, it is loaded onto specialized protein caravans and sent back to the bone marrow to forge the next generation of warriors. The remains of the armor, hemoglobin transformed into a yellow pigment called bilirubin, it travels to the liver to aid in crafting digestive juices before being exiled from the body. The red blood cell perishes, having fulfilled its oath to the very end. Yet, in the exact second it fades, the bone marrow unleashes millions of fresh, young cells to begin the epic all over again, in an eternal cycle of life.